Welcome back, guys, to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. There's some explosive news. Actually, not just one. There's actually a lot of explosive news that is coming out today, and that is why Bitcoin pumped up to 40,000 once again. Yes, Bitcoin, not too long ago, a lot of people were fearing this head and shoulders that never came. A lot of people were fearing that Bitcoin was going to go below 30,000, but didn't come. And guess what? It went right back up to $40,000, and it hit that not too long ago. So today I want to talk about this explosive news or piece of the news and talk about Bitcoin. Why it's coming right back up, what's going to happen in the future, what should you do, and let's talk about other things that relate to not Bitcoin, but the entire crypto industry. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, I have these streams every day at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So smash up the likes, smash it up, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you guys did catch my video from last night. Very different. You guys know I've been talking about Bitcoin nonstop pretty much every single day. Wanted to do something different for you guys. So I revealed a 10x altcoin. Most of you guys know what that is now. But if you didn't watch it, watch it. And I did have a goof up again yesterday because I forgot to share my screen. But I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to change my screen right now. There we go. So I won't forget. All right, let's jump right in. Bitcoin is at $39,400. It hit 40,100 not too long ago, and then it came right back down. But overall, guys, very, very, very good recovery. You know, going back a little bit, you know, people asking me about that head and shoulders. I'm like, you know what? Just because everyone's saying it's going to happen doesn't mean it's going to happen. You got a lot of buying going on behind the scenes. The fundamentals didn't change just because Bitcoin corrected. It held at 30,000, came up, you know, sideways a little bit, and boom, right back to $40,000, right? So we're on the cusp of forming a new high pretty soon. Once we break above 40,000, had 42,000, then maybe back to our golden days of a new all-time high every single day we wake up, right? So 50,000 could be right around the corner. And actually, I do have an article that actually talks about that too. So Bitcoin is certainly doing good. And during yesterday's stream, I don't have this up for some reason, but I should. During yesterday's stream, I mentioned how the overall market cap is above $1 trillion again. Yet last night was barely over $1 trillion, but today you could see almost to 1.1 trillion again, right? Up 12%. That is huge. That is huge. Although most of this is from Bitcoin because BTC dominance is still relatively high compared to before. But you know what? We'll take it. Over $1 trillion market cap once again. Things are looking pretty good. So what is this breaking news, right? Or pieces of news that I want to share? The biggest one, I believe, that people are overlooking, and this was it's causing a lot of doubt, a lot of fear in the industry. You know, people were fearing that crackdown was happening, that Mnuchin was going to get his way, but no, the Treasury and Mnuchin, they're backing down. They're backing down. And in case you're not familiar, this is when Mnuchin all of a sudden decided to submit a proposal to make it so that people that have self-hosted wallets, they have to declare KYC. So these exchanges, it doesn't matter, you know, if you're buying or trading on them, any address they send to or receive from will require KYC information. It's a big hassle, headache. And it was you know what? It could have disrupted a lot of things, right? Made people who have self-hosted wallet, like your hardware wallet, just very difficult to do any kind of transactions if this went through. And Mnuchin threw this out at the last minute. Brian Armstrong, Coinbase, said, no, we need to stop this. A lot of congressmen came out and said, we need to stop this, right? And now it is being stopped because Mnuchin is getting kicked out of the door. So what is the point to this? So they're backing down. They're not going to go forward with it. And they're going to wait until the new administration and see who it is, Janet Yellen or whoever. And maybe they're just going to get rid of it altogether, right? Who knows? Maybe they will be crypto friendly. But I'm glad to see this happen. Mnuchin, why don't you just stick stick it to crypto, right? Kind of like what Jay Clayton of SEC did with Ripple, just kind of like stick it to them before he left. You know, Mnuchin wanted to do that, but then he decided there's just too much pushback. What is the point? And that's what I said, right? He should be concentrating on his next job rather than trying to stick it to the crypto industry. So this is big. I think this is big. Now, it doesn't mean that this won't come again, but you know, there's a lot of other things that the Treasury and the Fed and the new administration have to worry about, right? So putting this new restriction on self-hosted wallets, this is probably on the last of their list. So we probably won't hear about this for quite some time, right? But I think this is breaking news that not a lot of people's talking about. This is one that really held down, caused a lot of uncertainty for crypto when this was announced. Right now, we could take a breather because this is being removed for the time being. So that is very, very big. I think this is one of the big reasons why Bitcoin went up today, because of this. The whales, right? The whales, the institutions, right? They probably breathe a little easier seeing this. Okay, besides this breaking news, what else is there? Well, this is the next one. It's not breaking news, but it is news that will definitely help Bitcoin, in my opinion. Biden to unveil plan to pump 1.5 trillion into the economy. This is on top of the 2 trillion, I believe, that was already approved. So this is on top of that. So people that received a $600 stimulus check will receive another $1,400 to make it an even $2,000. And there's going to be a lot more relief packages for small businesses, people with unemployment, on unemployment, and so forth. So this is a lot of money that's coming in, right? This is why a lot of people feared that a broader market was going to sell off in 2021, right? People were afraid that 2020 things were too good. In 2021, the broader market's going to sell off. I don't think so, because you have more and more money coming in. So why would it sell off, right? And I always said that this type of pump into the economy helps Bitcoin's two ways, not just one, 2 ways. Number one is, yes, there's a lot of money just flowing to everyone, right? Everywhere. A lot of people don't need that stimulus check. They go invest with it. Where to go do? They'll probably go look at Bitcoin because it is the fastest moving horse in the race, right? So that just makes sense. Also, when Wall Street is doing good, overall broader market's doing good, people are looking ways to diversify, to invest in other things. So, of course, they're also looking at Bitcoin because, again, Bitcoin is the fastest horse in the race. So that also helps. And the second way it helps is all these Wall Street guys that are concerned about inflation and looking to hedge against inflation, right? Instead of looking at gold, they're looking at Bitcoin. So again, because it's the fastest horse in the race and it is a hedge against inflation, why not, right? So this helps Bitcoin many, many, many ways. And I'm going to bring up, what is it? USD SAT. For those of you guys that have never seen this before, this values the dollar versus sats, okay? And as you can see, the dollar is devaluing itself and hyperinflating, especially when you compare it to Bitcoin. Even 1 year ago, right? 1 year ago, it deflated 77% versus Bitcoin. You go back 2 years ago, 91%. 4 years ago, 98%. And 5 years ago, 99%. 99%. That is a lot. You go back 8 years, and 99.9%. So the dollar is deflating right in front of our eyes, or devaluing, I should say, right? This is why a lot of wealthy and rich investors, they're looking for a way to protect their wealth, to protect their buying power, and they're putting in Bitcoin. So, like I mentioned about this, the new stimulus package, it helps Bitcoin in many, many, many ways. Many ways. More ways than we can count. And what does that mean? What does that mean? It's going to mean this for Bitcoin. Blast off. Blast off into the atmosphere, to the moon. And that is what we're going to see in 2021. Which is why Bitcoin has come up so fast. And it's holding, and it continues to go, and 50,000 will be right around the corner. All right, so I mentioned about the Treasury backing down, Mnuchin getting kicked out, right? Biden and administration with his new stimulus package coming in, right? So those two, pretty good news, breaking news, in fact. Also, here's an article on CNBC. Crypto investment firm Grayscale sees 900% jump in assets to 20 billion amid Bitcoin frenzy. Yes, of course, Grayscale, the motherload company, I guess, the mothership, I should say, when it comes to an investment firm that helps institutions invest, right, with their Bitcoin trust. It just keeps going up and up and up and up, right? Right before the end of the year, they shut down their doors for new clients because I believe that their existing clients was overwhelming them already. Now they have opened the doors again to new clients. So now you know more clients go come in, right, and cause a massive, massive surge. And then their existing clients just go keep buying. And again, they're already buying more Bitcoins, way more Bitcoins than it's being produced. Just this one firm alone. It's a simple supply and demand. It really is, right? The supply is very, very limited, and the demand is very, very high and keeps growing, right? And in that situation, you know, the price just keeps going up. Keeps going up. See, like I said, a lot of explosive news today, and it fits Bitcoin's rise perfectly, right? It really makes sense. But you got to be careful because the media, you know, tends to shift daily, right? When Bitcoin was down, you know, all the articles came out about analysts saying that it's going to go down, watch out, it's a bubble, it's going to burst, right? It seems like whenever Bitcoin goes down, all the media turns very, very, very negative, right? And all of a sudden, things turn very, very positive again. But this is what I'm saying. You got to pay attention. There's so much data, so much news coming out. You got to read in between the lines. You got to connect the dots, right? You got to connect the dots and realize what's going on. And what's going on is there's a frenzy, like this says, among institutions and now retail investors. There's a frenzy to get on the fastest horse in the race, and that is Bitcoin. All right. What else is there? Speaking of Grayscale, here's a chart, there's a chart that shows their investment holdings. This is a little bit different than the one I usually pull from Grayscale, but this came up anyways. So Grayscale Trust, Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust, I should say, now hold over 608,000 Bitcoins. That's a lot of Bitcoins. That's a lot. That's crazy amount of Bitcoins, right? So this number keeps going up and up and up. They also hold a lot of Ethereum, and they're starting to pick up on Litecoin too. So that's the three biggest holdings, and they are basically getting rid of XRP. They have said that. So a lot of the XRP holdings is also being diversified into the top three. So that is what Grayscale is doing. What else is there? Gemini. For those of you guys that want a credit card with cashback rewards paid in Bitcoin, well, Gemini just launched that. So this is very, very nice, right? Most of us, we do use a credit card on a daily basis. Now, instead of getting rewarded in cash that just is worthless, you could get rewarded in Bitcoin. And then you could just keep that rewards there. See, that's the beauty. You know, most of the time you get these rewards, right? You don't know what to do with it. You could get cash back, or you could get travel credits, or you could get a gift card, right? But a lot of times you're like, whatever. You know, it's so small anyways. But now, you know, if you just get, you know, small sats, like little amounts of sats in Bitcoin, and you just hold it there, right? Who knows? You just leave it there 10 years from now, they'll add up to like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. It's the best thing ever, right? So they did a launch, and Gemini is one of the exchanges I do like. You know, I have their link in my description. You know, a lot of people complain about Coinbase, how they're always down and their customer service sucks, right? So a good alternative is Gemini. I've been using them for a while, and I do really like them a lot. And I do plan on getting this credit card as well. All right. What else is there? Well, look at this. You know, speaking of 50,000, Bitcoin bounces as option market sees 20% chance of 50,000 at month's end. That's not too far off from where we are now, right? 40,000, 50,000. that could come within like a few days, right? You don't have to wait until the end of the month. We're only halfway through. But according to this, and I made note about this yesterday because there are some exchanges that's offering options, where you can take you can put a long call or a call option for 50,000, 70,000, 100,000, right? By the end of January. And a lot of people are actually buying it because they actually think it's going to happen. And it could, right? If Bitcoin breaks above 40,000, breaks above 42, and it continues onwards, it could be at 50,000 no time. And after 50,000, then of course 60 and 70,000 is around no time. And then after that, 100,000, around no time. So it could happen. You're taking a big gamble. Obviously, if it doesn't hit, you're gonna lose. You go lose that contract. But you know what? A lot of people are very, 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 very bullish at this point. But keep in mind, you never want to invest more than what you can afford to lose. That is number one. You never want to do that because that's how you get wrecked. So don't do that, right? All right, what else is there? Well, Bitcoin, because of today's Bitcoin pump, Bitcoin did go up quite a bit on the list again. In fact, it is bigger than Facebook once again, which is a huge accomplishment if you think about it. It's a very big accomplishment. Now, Tencent, unfortunately, is a little bit above Bitcoin, but Bitcoin continues to pump. It will go above Tencent again, and it's coming very close to Tesla. Tesla's taking a breather, right? It was neck and neck. Bitcoin flipped over Tesla like a little bit, and then it flipped back. But you know what? We know Bitcoin is going much, much higher. It's about half of the world's silver supply. Think about it. That's paper and physical silver adding up to $1.4 trillion, and Bitcoin is already halfway through. If Bitcoin hits $80,000, then Bitcoin will be equal to silver, and I don't think that's too far off from where we are. And then after that, Bitcoin will be worth more than Amazon, Microsoft, Saudi Aramco, Apple, and then soon it will equal gold, and then it will surpass gold. And that's when Bitcoin will be close to $1 million. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you guys are too. All right, lastly, I just want to make mention, because some people were really shocked by this article. I talked about it a few days ago, and then people are still talking about it. So this is the San Francisco man that can't remember his Bitcoin password because he used something called IronGate, which only gives you 10 chances to guess at a password. And it doesn't like reset every day. So you have 10 chances permanently. If you don't guess it, basically it destroys itself. So if he can't guess it, he loses private keys to his $220 million worth of Bitcoin. So if you ever made a bad trade, if you ever said, what did I do? I lost an enormous amount of money. Well, just think about this guy who's about to lose $220 million because he has 2 tries left and he does not want to try. He lost a piece of paper where he wrote down the password. So most likely he will never remember it. So basically he's not going to try and he's just going to leave it there. Okay, you just go leave it there. So it's sad to hear, right? But this teaches an important lesson. So if you are going to hold your own crypto, you have to be very safe with your passwords and your private keys, right? You have to make sure that not only is it secure so that people can't get access to it, but also so that you don't forget your own password. Because if you do, that's like the worst kind, right? Forgetting your own password and not getting it, I think it's worse than having it hacked and stolen by someone else, right? Because at least you can blame someone else. In this case, you have no one to blame but yourself, and you're going to be regretting that for your entire life. And think about when Bitcoin goes higher and higher, and this number becomes billions for him, and he can't get access to it, right? That's horrible. But I did want to make one note about this. Is I read and I did some research. This is his LinkedIn page. So he's been doing other things, right? He's the founder CEO of Coil, this Imager, the website for images. He's the board of directors, investor and board member of Omni, and so forth. But if you go down the list, does this stand out? This guy was actually the CTO of Ripple for a long time, not for just a small stint. He was actually the CTO of Ripple for almost 6 years. and people didn't realize that. So this guy's been around the block for a while, been involved with crypto for a while. And I heard that this $220 million was actually gifted to him. Someone gave it to him early on as like a gift. So he didn't really think too much of it at that time, right? But yeah, he was a CTO of Ripple. I wonder if he holds any Ripple XRP still. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he's a billionaire from XRP. So this 220 million doesn't really mean anything to him. Who knows? Who knows? All right. So hopefully that's it. Those of you guys that tuned in already, tune in. You just tuned in. You missed my first half of this video. Well, the breaking news, there's a couple of them. Number one, Mnuchin and his stupid rush order to basically regulate self-hosted wallets. That's out the door because he's out the door. So that's gone. We got the stimulus package that's about to be unveiled pretty soon. That is going to be huge for the economy, also huge for Bitcoin. Grayscale opens up their doors, new clients flocking in, buying Bitcoin, right? So breaking news left and right everywhere. And that is why Bitcoin is doing so well and will continue to do well going forward. All right, guys, I'll turn to you guys for some good old Q&A. True Patriot, welcome. Rotten. To be fair, right? Think about it. When he received his 7,000 Bitcoins, at that time, it was probably worth like $70, right? So he didn't really care about it. He just kind of just like, okay, I'm going to put in this, write down my password, that's it, right? Because at the time, it was not worth that much. Obviously, now it's a little bit different, right? But man, had he kept that password, he would be $220 million richer. So that really sucks. That really sucks. All right, looking at Bitcoin, it's climbing up once again. Here's the thing: short term, I think Bitcoin is going to be staying below 40,000 for a little bit, because ever since last night, ever since it started pumping to the moon, I've been noticing like this period over here, a ton of buying pressure with no sell pressure. And it was pretty obvious that Bitcoin was going to go up. And usually when it pumps up, it likes to hit an even number like 40,000, right? And then it's going to take a breather because it needs to. A lot of these indicators were very, very overbought. Short term, right? So you can see 15-minute over here. It is now rounding out, right? The next one that needs to round down is probably the 1 hour. 1 hour needs to come down a little bit, right? But overall, I don't think any of us can complain that Bitcoin's back at 40,000 again, right? Not too long ago, just a few days ago, it breached and went down to $30,000. It breaches 34.5, right? A lot of people were very anxious over here, very, very fearful that it was like 2018 again, right? And then people were talking about, oh, look at this Head and Shoulders, which was like a really awkward looking shoulder since one was higher than others, right? But Bitcoin, you just got to pay attention to what's happening behind the scenes. Look at the bigger macro factors that's at play. And once you understand that, once you realize why Bitcoin is going up, then you'll realize that there's nothing to fear and that you're going to basically be buying and holding your Bitcoin for life-changing wealth, right? But most people don't want to know that. I'll give you guys an example. I was walking the dog yesterday. One of my neighbors here, his wife is somewhat good friends with my wife, right? And our kids go to the same school. But anyways, he was asking me about my car channel because he likes cars. And I said, oh, it's doing okay. Not as good as my crypto channel right now because crypto's so hot. And he's like, oh, yeah. So, what's the deal with Bitcoin? And I'm like, the deal is it's going up. That's what's happening. So, and then he's like, of course, he's like, why? And I'm trying to explain to him, right? I'm trying to explain about inflation, about the dollar devaluing itself, about a whole lot of things. And I could just tell, his eyes just glancing over, what I'm saying is going in one ear and out the other. Like he has no interest in hearing about that. But his last question was, well, do you think it's going to go up more, right? So that's unfortunate with most people coming into this space, right? And I understand. People are chasing the money, right? They're chasing the money. They see Bitcoin go up so much. They want to FOMO in because they want to ride it higher, right? But they don't actually want to know why Bitcoin is going higher in the first place. And that's dangerous because if you don't understand it, then you don't have that conviction or faith in it. So if Bitcoin does come down a little bit like this, they get panicked and then they sell and then they have weak hands, right? But if you truly understand why Bitcoin is going up, you truly understand the fundamentals of it and why it's so important, then you will change your mindset to think that this is a golden buying opportunity, and that's what you want to do, right? You want to see these dips as beautiful buying opportunities, and that's the way to do it, right? So don't be one of those people that just FOMOs in because you see the price go up. Understand what you're buying. Understand Bitcoin, and then you'll see things differently. Blade Runner, 99% people here say fiat is trash, but at the end of the day, they want to make more fiat by buying and selling BTC. How about you, George? Well, that's the name of the game right now because everything is denominated in USD. We can't just all say we 100% ignore fiat in USD because that's not reality. You still pay bills. You do a lot of things with USD. So you can't ignore it altogether. But at the end of the day, as long as BTC goes up and makes you way more USD than inflation, that's the right way to do it. And who knows, eventually, if everything is denominated in Bitcoin, then things will be different. But we're not anywhere close to that. That's the thing. John, I think that hardened trade was, I mean, it had to be done. If you're Nets, you had to do it, but Nets is not going to go anywhere. I hate how all the LeBron haters coming out and say, oh, LeBron's done. The Nets go come out of the West and I mean, out of the East and win. No, trust me, they're not coming out of nowhere. They're going to fall apart. Kyrie's a head case. Harden cracks under pressure. So it's going to be basically Durant versus the Lakers. It's going to be Lakers in 5 or 6. DJ, thank you for introducing me to Voyager. So after you introduced it the first time, so I looked at it. I'm like, oh, it looks pretty interesting. So I did a deep dive, and I do think they are a very good project. So I did do that video yesterday. Unfortunately, I kind of messed up, but still, people enjoyed it, and it's doing well overall. So Boston, I believe I completely agree with what you're saying about Kyrie. Yeah, my car channel is called Drivers Only, and that's doing pretty well. Both my channels doing pretty well. I, over 70,000 subscribers on both channels, so pretty soon this year, hopefully, both will be at 100,000. What are your opinions on companies paying employees in BTC in the future? I think that's possible. I mean, there's a lot of companies that is willing to do that. I think it's still a little premature. It's not like it's just going to happen overnight, but slowly, I think more progressive companies will start doing that and giving option. But still, I mean, that's to think that everyone's going to do it overnight. No, that's going to take some time. Merch. Crypto taxes is just like any capital gain taxes, just like stocks, just like investments. If you made money, you're supposed to pay taxes. It's just simple as that. Crypto taxes are the same way. So don't be more fearful of crypto taxes versus any other taxes. It all works the same way. So speaking of which, I did a very big, I think they may be the prominent crypto tax company out there, reached out to me. I think we're going to partner up and we're going to do something for next few months. So it's definitely going to help as tax season rolls around, right? Because IRS does know that a lot of people made a ton of money in 2020. So they're taking it very seriously. So I am in the works for that. So yeah, Marshawn, that's one of the big reasons why I love what I loved about them when I first took a look at their webpage is because they're a public traded company already. You know, both in the U.S. and in Canada. So you got two regulators looking at them hard. So I just don't believe that they're going to do any kind of shenanigans. Of course, they could still go belly up, but in terms of shenanigans, probably not, right? And they have a lot of going for them. Their team is stellar. Like I don't recall the last project that I reviewed that actually had a team as good as theirs. I mean, there are some projects that have really good teams, right? But that was a perfect mix of entrepreneur, you know, leaders and finance people, you know, like all, like everyone in that space, trading, like, yeah, it was good. Man, a lot of people asking about XRP. Well, those of you guys that are interested about XRP, I do have a special video for you guys at the end of the stream. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Why is LTC such a slow mover? Well, because it's not Bitcoin. It's like asking why does silver not move up as fast as gold? Because it's silver and it's not gold. That's honestly what it is, right? Why would you buy silver when you could buy gold, right? Now there are periods times where silver moves faster than gold, but over the long haul, gold outperforms silver because it is gold. It's the same thing with Litecoin. Litecoin is a copy of Bitcoin, right? It basically is the same thing. It's a store of value, but it is a fork. It is a copy. So there's a big difference between 740 billion and 10 billion, right? So why doesn't Litecoin move like Bitcoin? Well, because it's Litecoin. It's not Bitcoin. It's simple as that. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't matter. Who cares if Litecoin settles 2.5 minutes instead of 10 minutes? It's still slow for the intended purpose, which is to conduct, you know, transactions with. There's crypto out there that's much faster. Even Ripple, Stellar, they're faster. Nano's faster. IOTA's faster, right? So who cares if it's 4 times as fast? What people are going to end up doing with their Bitcoin is buying things like houses and planes and Lambos where you don't need to have instant transactions. No one cares. Plus, there are services that's being built on top of Lightning that can help with that. So that's coming. But right now, for the intended purpose, most people are just going to hold their Bitcoin until they can buy something huge, right? So that transaction time doesn't really mean anything. John, appreciate that. Juno, there's no Tether FUD. I don't know what Tether FUD you're still referring to because $24 billion worth of Tether is not driving Bitcoin up to 740 billion. It did not. There's nowhere amount. Now, Tether was at 740 billion and Bitcoin is at 740 billion, then I would say that coincidence is too much to overlook. But this 24 billion did not pump up Ethereum to 141 billion and did not pump up Bitcoin to 740 billion. So there's no FUD there. There's no FUD there. And they're being heavily looked at now. They're being audited by, you know, the New York Attorney General and stuff. I doubt they're doing any shenanigans now. Maybe before, but no longer. Starbucks is way better than Dunkin' Donuts, but you know, sometimes I have to be cheap. So, but McDonald's isn't bad. Sugar-free vanilla iced coffee is pretty good. Yeah, that's probably true, Ramon. That, you know, the XRP army keeps bringing that up. You know, Brad, you know, he's getting desperate, right? So, instead of just defending Ripple, he would throw out things like, oh, you know, Bitcoin is so centralized. It's controlled by China. So, you know, XRP's or Ripple's better or XRP's better, whatever. Like, you know, if you go defend yourself, just defend yourself, all right? Don't try to, like, diss the best and biggest crypto out there. Because you know what? If Bitcoin really falls, right? And let's just pretend Bitcoin goes to zero. Guess where XRP will be? At negative 30 cents. It'll be below zero, right? So why would you want to pull down the leader of the space? It makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. It would destroy yourself. If Bitcoin went down, it would destroy XRP. Don't have delusions of grandeur that XRP somehow could be bigger than Bitcoin. That's just stupid. Joshua asked, do you think Cardano will be battling Ethereum for the spotlight later this year? I don't know if they can go up that fast. Polkadot made some huge moves recently, so they're actually above Cardano, right? Both of these guys, founded by ex-Ethereum co-founders, so they know what they're doing. They have good following. A lot of Ethereum, projects are also following them. So I think they're both up and coming, but for them to go up, like 20x to surpass Ethereum within a single year, probably not, because Ethereum's going to move too. But, they could definitely move up the list, become number 3 and 4. That could very easily happen. I think XRP is going to keep falling. I think there's a good chance that XRP might fall out of the top 10 the way things are going. So, that's to see. Tron, Daniel, unfortunately, I think Tron is going nowhere fast. Let's just put it that way. Will they die? Probably not. They have way too much money in the bank for that to happen. But all their acquisitions, there's no progress at all. No progress whatsoever. They've been buying everything that is pretty much dead. DLive is dead, basically not being used. Steam, not being used. Their Sun Network, not being used. Wink, not being used. I mean, BitTorrent, arguably, it was a working project already, but all the integrations they want to do with storage and streaming and all that stuff, I don't know if any of that came to fruition. I don't know if it ever will. So Justin is buying all these projects, but not integrating any of them. And I don't know. He might be in over his head. And none of his marketing tactics work anymore, because if they did, Tron would still be in the top 10. And Tron just keeps falling slower, lower, and lower, lower. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to die, but I don't know where Tron will end up. Not Steam Gaming, Steam It, like the Reddit competitor. So a little bit different. If XRP versus XCC, XRP versus SEC, and SEC stops sales of any further XRP, the price of XRP will rocket based on remaining supply. No, and that's not what they're going to do. Yeah, it's too much to explain. No, it's not going to skyrocket. Let's just put it that way. It'll go up, but it's not going to skyrocket. Wasn't Cuban part of Funfair? I don't know. Cuban has been around for a while, but he's still. No, I don't think so. Cuban was involved with Unicorn Gold, which I thought had huge potential because Mark Cuban, Ashton Kutcher, all these celebrities were behind Unicorn Gold, and then I think they sold out and they didn't tell anyone, and then it tanked. So I know Mark Cuban was behind Unicorn Gold, which is why I really liked them before, but then he just gave up on them, and he gave up on Bitcoin too. And I don't know, he's doing a lot of trolling now, so I don't know what his real stance is on Bitcoin. Was it shut down by SEC? I just know that it started getting really weak, and I always suspected that Mark and others just sold their stake, which is why it started to just get really weak and dying. But, I mean, they were in e-gaming, gambling of e-gaming. I think that's the perfect marriage, of gambling, which is really hot right now, and e-gaming, right? That was like a perfect marriage, but never worked out. Have you tried Shake Shack's Korean chicken sandwich? Where I live, there's no Shake Shack. Not that I recall. I don't remember there's a Shake Shack around me. Do you think we'll see 37 BDC again? 37 is reasonable. I think we can see that. We could see that. I mean, we have, besides this big drop, you know, we had some big movements, right? BTC will not go up forever. Okay, there will be times. Well, when I say that, I mean like short bursts, right? Long term, I think it will keep going up. But short bursts, we're gonna have periods where it'll just stall out a little bit. Honestly, even with today, you know, coming back up to 40,000, there are going to be periods where it just stalls out. It can't keep making a new high every single day, even though we like to see that, right? So can it fall back to 37 from where we are now? Yeah, that's only 5% down, right? So you got to think about it. If it goes down 5%, it would be at 37. So these numbers are very big now, since Bitcoin is at a very big number. So you got to keep that in mind. VeChain is one of my top projects. Just do some research on VeChain. They're like the biggest. They're like Ethereum of China, but they're bigger than Ethereum of China because they have all the big partnerships. So just gotta wait it out. Wait it out. VeChain will have its day where it just keeps pumping and getting to the top 10, and once it does, it's gonna stay there. Sports cards, basketball cards is so hot, so hot. Well, it depends. It depends on if you have the right players or not. I have so much. I have so much graded cards, but a lot of them are worthless because I chose really bad players to grade, and their grading didn't come out well. But man, basketball cards like Durant rookies have like gone to the moon now. LeBron rookies are already at the moon. Jordan rookies are already at the moon, right? Kobe's is getting there too. Basketball cards are so hot. So hot. I still have all my Legos. I just built out the newest modular building, the police station. I just do a few bags every single day, and I finally complete it. I still like Legos, but I don't concentrate that much, obviously, because I'm just like looking at the charts every single minute. Like literally. Well, I'm using a Brave browser, so how can I be discriminating bad? Every day I stream on a Brave browser, even though it might not, you can't see it, but it is the Brave browser. I'll prove it here. I'll go to this. There we go. See, I'm on Brave. I'm on Brave. Luca cards are already too hot. For what he's accomplished, which is not a whole lot, they're already too high. But I do have some Luca rookies too, and they have gone up quite a bit. I think I shared with you guys this story. Back in February, pretty much like the top brand. It's not the most expensive, but the go-to brand everyone looks at is now Prism, Panini Prism. And in February, you know, my friend was telling me, back in February of 2020, I should say, before everything really went down, you know, Luca PSA 10s, which is like a perfect condition, you know, graded Luca Prism rookie, was around $200. And he picked up a few. He's like, you know what? I think he's going to go up, you know. And then Gary Vee started talking about Luca, and it instantly it shot up to like $500. So I FOMO'd in. I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy one at 500. And then it went down because of pandemic, like March, April came down a little bit back to 300. And then since then, it's just been skyrocketing. So now that card is like $1,900. So yeah, and it's still there. So it's insane. Gary Vee is also, those of you guys that know him, is an entrepreneur. He's also very, very bullish on Bitcoin. He's not an expert, but he's done some videos and he's been asked about Bitcoin, and he actually does like it. So Gary Vee tends to jump from one thing to another. His interest right now is sports cards. especially basketball. Huge. He's been telling people to buy basketball cards for over a year now, and he's made some good money. In fact, interesting story, he bought one of my rookie cards. I have a Carmelo rookie on eBay, and he actually bought that from me. So that's my story about Gary Vee. But yeah, he's on sports cards all the way right now. But I have a feeling he's going to jump, not get off of sports cards all the way, but I have a feeling he's going to jump to Bitcoin and crypto pretty soon. And if he does that, he's going to become the next Tika, the next Palm Beach, because whatever altcoin he recommends is going to jump up like 1,000,000%. I have a feeling that's coming, but he may be wary of that, because if he starts being labeled as a shill or pumper, maybe the SEC or someone will go after him, because he is well known. But I have a feeling he's going to get into that next. Do you think this is the top of sports cards? Ways to go? No, it's not the top for sure. Sports cards will keep going up. It's the new, as he explained it, it's the new art collecting, right? Like most of us. A lot of people are talking about, the Powerball Mega Millions or with Bitcoin, right? Just think about it. You grew up with sports. A lot of you guys watch sports, football, basketball, hockey, baseball, whatever, right? You grew up with it. You become a multimillionaire or a billionaire, right? Are you instantly go start collecting things you have no interest in? Like you go start buying some Picassos and putting on your wall when you have no interest in art? Or will you be buying very expensive sports cards as an investment, and also because you like it, right? You could show it off to people. You could look at it, right? That is what's happening, because people that have made a lot of money either with crypto or stocks, they're all jumping into sports cards. So it's the modern day art collecting. So yeah. So I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. That's why you have some rookie cards like LeBron rookie that went for 1.8 million, a Mike Trout rookie that went from like 3.8 million. They're all going higher and higher and higher because all these rich folks is just jumping in right now. Pretty soon we'll probably see rookie cards being sold for $10-15 million. I mean, it's insane to think about it. All right, guys, that is it. I'll let you guys go. Overall, Bitcoin is back, right? Bitcoin's back, 40,000, a little bit below. We may hover around this area, maybe go down a little bit because it has come up so fast, but overall, much better shape. A lot of people excited once again, but the reason why Bitcoin went up is because it's awesome and because there's a lot of buying behind the scenes, but there's also a lot of explosive news. Like Mnuchin's stupid rule, his proposed regulation for self-hosted wallets is out the door, and so is he. You got the stimulus packages coming in, Grayscale's opening their doors, right? And you got Gemini that's that launched a credit card that gives you cashback rewards in Bitcoin. All fantastic news, and they're all helping drive Bitcoin higher. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Make sure you smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I know I got a lot of XRP fans in here, so before you go, take a listen, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, same time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.